Hi guys, thank you for joining me once again. This is episode number 7. I absolutely love doing this podcast. It was so much fun. It was laughs from the start. Clive is a man full of knowledge, full of experience. He's an ex-professional boxer, gone on to be a boxing trainer. You name it, he's done it. He's got so much knowledge to drop on you guys. So just listen, enjoy. Mr. Clive Fearon. Hey Clive, welcome to the podcast.
Boom, I'm here.
How you doing, man?
I'm all right, thank you, Rich.
So a little bit of background just for the people who are listening. Just took us about half an hour to get this podcast started. So me and Clive have decided that we'll crack a beer out, de-stress a little bit, and then get into it. There's some technical difficulties on the app here, just linking up together, but we're finally here, so.
Yeah, we're ready to rock and roll.
Ready to rock. So the first part of this podcast, what I like to do is get acquainted with you. So what that means is I'm going to chuck 10 questions at you. Some quite random questions as well. And I just want you to kind of answer them as purely as possible. You don't have to think too much about it. Just, whatever comes to your mind first.
Okay.
All right. So start off with a couple of easy ones. Full name?
Clive Fearon. No middle names. Age? Whoa! In my 50s.
Occupation?
Gym owner, personal trainer, author, various things. Father.
Everything.
Yeah.
Awesome. If you could be any animal, what would it be and why?
I could be an animal, what would I be? Probably a lion. Why would I want to be a lion? Because the women go out and do all the work. No.
I like that. That's a great answer. I was thinking, because they're courageous, all that kind of stuff. No, I like that.
There is all that as well. Oh, yeah. Right. The females, they go out and do all the kills. They go out and do the hunting. The lion, I'm not sure.
He sits back, eats the food.
Yeah.
I like it.
Makes the baby.
All right, next one. What was your nickname as a kid?
My nickname as a kid. Well, when I was in London, one of my nicknames was Fatty Arbuckle.
Fatty Arbuckle.
Yeah, Fatty Arbuckle.
I've seen you. I know what you look like. If the people out there don't know what you look like, just Google Clive Fearon. He's in his 50s. He's definitely no Fatty Arbuckle.
No, but I actually was a fat kid until about 13, and when I just grew out my puppy fat, and that was it.
Shredded. All right, you're gonna like this one, Clive. Front or back door?
I'm easy.
We'll take that. We'll move on. Favorite singer or musician?
Favorite singer or musician? Wow. Right. Who would I say? Bob Marley. Yeah.
Yeah, legendary.
Yeah, the reason why, you know what, right? Here's something that not a lot of people can say. I've actually seen Bob Marley in concert.
Really?
Yeah, I've seen him at Bingley Hall, 1978, in concert, and he was supported by Aswad. So yeah,
by who? Sorry?
He was supported by Aswad.
I don't even know who that is. But, that's before my time.
They're a very well-known reggae group back in the day.
Okay. Oh man, you're lucky. There's, like you say, not a lot of people could say they've been to see Bob Marley.
Yeah, but I have.
We'll get onto that because I know you've got a lot of experiences to talk about.
Okay.
So, next question: if you could teleport, where would you go?
If I could, Egypt. Yeah, Egypt. Yeah.
Okay. You need to expand on that. It's fine. Next question.
Okay.
Health or wealth?
Health or wealth? Well,
Mm.
I've got pretty good health, so I've got to say wealth because then I'll have both.
Okay. Fair enough. That's a good answer again. And this is, I always try and keep a big one for last. What's your most memorable life moment?
Wow, my most memorable life moment. A few spring to mind. Um, no, it's got to be my children. It's got to be my children every time. It's got to be the birth of my children. Um, my voice is quivering as I'm talking about it. So yeah, it's got to be the voice.
Oh, that's nice, man.
It's got to be the voice. So it's got to be my children. My children.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a proper good answer because I know you have experienced a lot in your life. I mean, let's talk about you there. So, Clive, ex-pro boxer, trainer, gym owner, personal fitness trainer, therapist, drug counselor,
Former drug
author.
therapist, former counselor.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean,
Yeah, I have
I'm just
done that in the
talking
past.
from
Yeah. I hear what you're saying.
you've done a lot of things. It's quite the list.
Yeah,
So
I forget most of the stuff that I've done, really.
I mean, you've done that much. I suppose it's easy to do so. I mean, let's start from the beginning, Clive. Let's talk about the boxing because that's as early back as I can go as far as like occupation's
Okay,
concerned.
all
So,
right.
how did you get into boxing, or did you fall into boxing?
Um, I suppose I kind of fell into it. I always had an interest in boxing when I lived in
Mm.
London, and I moved up here when I was 11 to Derby. And
Yeah,
for about 3, 4 years, I didn't do any boxing. But then I found a boxing club, the Arboretum Club, which was at the Barrack,
yeah.
which was just up the road from me. Started going
Hmm.
there. I had my first fight at 14, first amateur fight at 14. And yeah,
Yeah.
it just went from there, really.
You just fell in love with
Yeah,
it.
I ended up having, as an amateur, I think I had 55 fights as an amateur. Um, won a couple of local titles, but nothing big. I was,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd say like I explain it like this. I was in a when you're a welterweight, it's a very competitive division.
Yeah, I can
Most
imagine.
people
Yeah.
are around that way, so it's a competitive division. I was
Yeah.
okay, but I wasn't nothing brilliant.
Yeah. So I know that, when you got into your pro career, you was more kind of a journeyman boxer,
Yeah,
sort of always fighting in other people's backyards, always
absolutely,
turning up the underdog.
absolutely. You know what? I want to put that into context, right? Yeah, I was classified as a journeyman. I had 20 odd fights. I
Mm,
didn't even manage to win half of them. Um,
mm.
but what can I say? Well, I didn't manage to win half of them. But at the time, there was 135 welterweights rated in the country, and I think my highest
Yeah.
rating was 15. So you got to
Okay.
put that into. I just put that into perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know that's not like a diss or anything like that. I mean, at the end of the day, when you're on that journey, you're a journeyman. You go into to places like Scotland. You're fighting in these people's backyards. The
Scotland,
crowd's against you. The
Glasgow,
referees against you.
Glasgow,
You know.
Liverpool, Essex,
Yeah.
Billericay, Manchester. Yeah, boxing in all them places. Yeah, you're boxing the house fighter, and yeah, you're always you basically got to. There's a saying you got to knock them out to get a draw. So
Yeah.
there's some of them fights. You fight hard as a journeyman. You end up losing it by the half a point, which
Mm,
works out at one round, and it's like no,
yeah.
I know I
When I
won that
noticed,
fight, but
yeah.
it just weren't meant to be.
And yeah, well, I noticed on your record, like your wins mainly came from TKO. There's KO on there. The other corner retired. You had to really take it to him by the looks of it to actually get a win.
Yeah, what it was, I was taught by a guy called Don Scott, and Don Scott
Mm,
he was my trainer, and he was an Olympic silver medalist, Commonwealth gold medalist. He was a very good pro as well. and yeah, he taught me. He taught me how to. Box, and yeah, I think that I was quite privileged because I he taught me how to box, and I became a box fighter. So that meant like I was always looking to get on the attack, but I didn't just walk in there and attack. I mean, I like to box my way. You know, I like to use my jab to get in there. Once I got past that, then I was throwing combos to the head and the body. So yeah, that was my style.
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously seen your style. I've done a little bit of boxing with you in the past, and I know you're all about that jab and maintaining that jab, keep that distance. You made me jab at one point till I felt like my shoulder was going to fall off. Absolutely just jab, 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 and I'm like, come on, when are we going to do the good stuff? Everybody wants to throw the big punches, don't they? Everybody wants to throw, a 16 punch combo or something ridiculous, but it's all about those fundamentals and getting that jab, finding that distance, finding that range, and then waiting for the opening, I suppose.
Because everything comes off the jab. The jab's the can opener. But there's the art of boxing, and it's all about the art of boxing. Boxing is one of them things. A lot of people, I'd like to box, but when they start the training, it's not all about throwing big punches. It just isn't.
No.
You've got to know how to defend yourself. You've got to have the right footwork, etc., which is what
100%.
I teach people. Most fights, with a white collar, amateur, professional, most fights are won on points. So you got to have some boxing ability.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know when I've done some training with you in the past, and you'll get the guys, and you're almost dancing. Sometimes, you're not actually throwing punches. You're not hitting the bags. You're not sparring. You're actually just moving back and forth, almost like a ballroom dance. That's how you teach it. But that's all just giving you that right footwork, getting that footwork going, because it's so important. And I know, like the likes of Lomachenko, his dad put him into dance classes.
See,
took him out of boxing.
What a lot of people fail to realise is that you don't box in a telephone box. You box in a ring, which is 16, 17, 18 foot, even these white collar guys. So, you got to be able to get in you got to be able to go forwards to be able to hit someone, but you've also got to be able to have a reverse gear to get out of the way, to be able to move left, to be able to move right, to keep your hands up, to block the shots, etc., etc. There's a lot of things there's a lot of more things than just two guys punching each other or two females punching each other. There's a lot more to it than that. Talking about females, something I want to say that a lot of people don't know, but back in the day, we had 3 female professional boxers all at once in the gym. This is before female boxing became popular. Juliet Winter, Sarah Davis, and Sue Elmslie. And Juliet Winter, she was a bantamweight, and she actually won. She was the first British bantamweight female champion. She came from Derby, from One Nation, me and Cliff trained her. And
you and Cliff trained her. Back when? How long ago was this?
We're looking at late 90s. We're looking at. I think she won the title in '98. I think it was. But no, sorry, it was later than that. I think it was in 2000. 2001, 2003, something like that. It was on a Sunday afternoon in Dagenham. And I'll never forget when they raised her. She was again fighting a girl from London, and Juliet put it on her properly, won the title. I'll never forget when she won the title. She jumped on me and gave me a hug, and I thought, wow.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking, 17 to 20 years ago. Quite rightly, as you said, female boxing's not really come to the fore in the main sort of mainstream until quite recently.
That's right.
I could probably say maybe Nicola Adams was one of the first female boxers where I kind of took notice. I've had Sandy Ryan on the podcast actually.
We used to train Sandy as well. Um,
Yeah, I did mention you on that podcast with Sandy. So
yeah, you should train.
yeah,
Sandy's a very nice girl, got a lot of talent, a lot of
yeah,
dedication, and I hope that she goes very far. Doing it for
yeah. And
Derby.
do you think she will go very far? I mean, she's won the Commonwealth Gold. I've got a lot of faith in her.
You know what? She comes from good pedigree with her brother Dave. She
Yep.
keeps it real because she's around people that don't blow smoke up her arse. So she keeps it real. So do I think
Yeah.
she'll go a long way? I certainly hope that she does. I certainly hope that she goes a long way and puts Derby on the market, Derby on the map.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, she is exactly what you said there. I mean, I've had a chat with her, and we throw a few messages back and forth on Instagram and stuff like that. Very grounded, very
Mm.
just. She's just Sandy. She's not, like, oh, I'm in the limelight or anything
No,
like that. I
no.
know she's got a lot. She's got 15,000 followers on Instagram. The likes of David Hay, Anthony Joshua, things like that. But at the same time, she's back at home, um, in her hometown, doing little videos with her nieces on
Yeah, I see
TikTok and
him.
stuff like
Yeah,
that. So you know what
yeah,
I mean? Yeah.
yeah.
So
It's all about
before we
keeping
carry
it
on into
real.
this, though,
Go on.
I wanted to ask you one question, something that I don't know about you,
Yeah.
and this is just going back to your boxing days. Lord Rossi.
Yeah, that was my boxing name, Claude Rossi. Yeah, I just
So how come you had a boxing name then, rather than you didn't just go in as Clive Fearon?
I don't know. It was it was just back in the day. I don't know. I just decided to call myself Claude Rossi. Looking back on
Yeah.
it now, right? I wish I did call myself Clive Ferry. Go
Hmm.
by my original name. My son, who's now a professional boxer, I am so pleased that he goes by the name of Alex Ferrin. Sorry. I told him he should have called himself Alex Garcia and get a Mexican following, but
Yeah, I mean the Mexicans, they love the boxing, and they're very very loyal supporters. So
yeah,
yeah, it's not a bad idea.
but he wouldn't have it. He said, "No, I'm sticking to Alex Ferris." So yeah, that's cool.
Fearon. I mean, it's like, yeah, like there's a good play on words there. Fear one, fear none, kind of
Yeah,
thing. You know what I mean? Alex, fear none, fear Fearon.
that's
I don't
that's
know.
actually his
But
nickname, Fear Non Ferris.
oh, is he
Yeah,
really? Oh, there you go then. There you
he's
go.
got it
Yeah.
on his shorts.
How's Alex getting on anyway?
He is 10. He's what is he? He's 11 and 10 and 1, I think. Yeah, he lost one
That's good.
fight. He should have with this coronavirus. Before the coronavirus,
Mm,
he was supposed to be fighting on March the 30th for the Midlands area light welterweight title, which is 10
right.
stone. But with this coronavirus coming up, it all got cancelled and that. So he probably ain't going to be out again now until October time, like a lot of
Right. Yeah.
fighters.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of things getting moved to that kind of time. I was due to do the 10K, Derby 10K, end of May, I think it
Yeah,
was. No, no, sorry, end of March, end of March. So it should have already happened, but that's been moved to October. So I think that's what a lot of people are thinking. Where, we're going to be safer to be around more people. I mean, we might come out of this sooner, but there's going to be a lot of restrictions still in place. There's still going to be social distancing. They don't want to have a secondary wave, I
that's
suppose.
it.
There's going to be,
That was a talk today on the news. Yeah.
yeah. So I suppose the same as I think if they do start introducing people back to work, getting people back out there, there's going to be a lot of restrictions in place, and the people that are at high risk, I suppose, they'll probably still be locked down for the foreseeable. So yeah, I mean, I want to come out of it as soon as I can, but at the same time, like I don't mind. I don't mind being locked down. I've had a good time with my family. I'm still working from home. My wife's still working. We've still got food on the table. Kids are getting fed. There's a roof over our heads. That's all I'm bothered about. How are you finding it you're a gym owner. You're making your living through having a gym, through people, I suppose, paying their subscriptions to your gym and using your
Yeah.
gym. Um, and I know that gyms have had to freeze the memberships and things like that.
It's been a challenging
Um,
time. It is a challenging time. Um, Full stop. It's a challenging time. I've enjoyed spending a little bit more time with my family, kids. We made a few stupid videos and stuff like that. But I think, like most of the nation, I'm just, or we, we're just itching to get back into it. We're itching to get back to school, get back into a normal routine and everything.
Yeah, definitely. I do miss getting into the gym and that. I've picked up a bit more running,
Yeah.
so I'm going out doing a bit of running on the street and that. But I do miss getting some like high intensity workouts, and I know there's stuff I can do at home and that, but so hard to get motivated for that. Get yourself out there. Me and my wife have done a few sessions outside because the weather's been nice. But I mean, now it's it looks like it's going to be raining for the rest of the week and stuff. It's
Yeah,
going to be hard to
it
get
is. Yeah,
motivated to do that.
yeah. I mean, I encourage people to exercise in that, and I mean, one of the things that I've been doing while we've been not been able to open up is I've been putting exercise programs in that on our social media pages. Um,
Yeah,
just to keep people interested in exercise, etc. Because it is difficult when you're not in your routine. Um, there's a bit you're missing. There's a bit you're happy that you're not in your routine. But then as it goes on, you start getting bored and you start, well, I just want to get back to my routine. I'm getting stir crazy. So I try and I put stuff out there. 3 minute videos, 15-minute videos, 10-minute videos. People want to take them up, then take them up. It'll help them keep connected to the gym. It'll help them keep connected to exercise.
yeah, I like that. I've seen them. I've seen that you're putting them on YouTube and stuff like that. So you're not even doing this for. You're not doing this for money. You're just doing it to, literally keep people engaged in keeping them exercise, keeping them fit, mental health as well. Obviously exercise is very much linked to keeping a good state of mind, well-being. So that's awesome that you're doing that. And if you have any links or anything like that, or your social media pages, we'll put those up at the end so
Please
people can go
do,
and check
please
those
do.
out.
There's like on
Yeah,
our,
definitely.
I've got a YouTube channel, and
Yeah,
there's over 100 videos on there. Some of them are exercise, most of them are exercise videos, me doing bits and bobs in the gym,
yeah,
like weight training and stuff like that. But there's also like some of the boxing fights that we've had, some of the boxing shows, because one of the things the gym does is we're a community gym, we're a CIC,
yeah,
which means community interest company. So
yeah,
part of doing that, part of our community interest is we like to raise money for charities and that. And we have before the coronavirus come along last year, we had a thing. It was the Fearon Championship boxing, and basically
yeah.
what it was about winning, but it wasn't about winning. But let me explain. Everybody wants to win their fight. Everyone wants to be a winner. So it was about
Of
that,
course.
yeah. But the person who and we had a belt. We had a belt made, and
Yeah.
the belts were I think the belts were £500 basically.
Yeah, I've seen it. I like it. I want it myself. I'm coming for that soon.
Whoever raised the most money for charity on their Just Giving page, they were the person that won.
Yeah,
They were the person that won the belt. Everybody got a trophy on the night, win or lose, but the
yeah,
actual championship belt, the FCCB, Fearon's Charity Championship Boxing Belt, it went to the person that raised the most money. We did it.
yeah,
We had two. Done it twice. The first person. Guy Beggs, he raised something like 960 something pounds for Help the Heroes. And
amazing.
the second person that won it, Chris Lloyd, he raised something like £1,200. I can't remember the charity that he won the money for. But all the other people that raised £400, £300 for their own individual charities, they're all their own individual charities raise money. So that's what we do.
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome, and that's what I was actually kind of segueing into about. You literally just ran with it. So I was going to talk about the YouTube thing, and you're doing that for free, but also kind of segue into what you just said there about it's not you're a community interest. You want to get kids off the street. You want to get kids into the gym. You are always raising money for charity. I know ever since I've known you, I respect that so much about you, and I know you've done that for a long time.
Thank you.
No, it's absolutely, it's just the truth. It's an amazing thing that you do, and I know these charities that you are doing this work for fully deserve the help that they can get. We've done a podcast before on a previous podcast of mine, and it was about a charity that was raising money for victims, young victims of abuse. There's just so many things, and that kind of struck a chord with me when you were doing that one, and it was like what it wasn't just helping those people through that time.
Charity, sorry to cut over you. The charity was, I think it's important to mention the charity. The charity was called Safe and Sound, and they protect underage young people against sexual exploitation. They're a local Derby charity, and they deserve to be supported as much as possible. It's very difficult now, I would imagine, with this coronavirus. Charities and everything are affected. So, I do think about them.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I love, and like I was saying, I suppose it's one of those. It's not just about helping those people afterwards as well, because there's a lot of charities out there that look after these people after they've been victimized. But actually, what they do is they're really proactive in taking the steps to stopping this from even happening in the first place.
Yeah.
So Safe and Sound, absolutely amazing charity, and like I said, like what you've done with your charity work and everything, that's fantastic, and that's a testament to yourself.
What we do is like we're going to be doing this the charity. We're going to be launching the FCCB Charity Championship Boxing again, but what we do is with Safe and Sound, they're our preferred charity. So if anyone sort of like says, "Oh, I don't know who to do it for," say, "Well, do it. You could do it for Safe and Sound. It's our preferred charity." And when you tell people that it's for we're raising money to help against young people, help young people against sexual exploitation. People are all too often very keen to get involved and do it for them.
Yeah, definitely. It's a really good thing, and I can't wait till you get back open and start doing that again. Yeah, I'll bet. So, like I said, anyway, we'll put all those links up. Like, we've got a website, projectpod.co.uk. Put links up. I'll put a special page up for you for your charity work. A link to your website, your social media. That'll all go on there, so people can watch your YouTube videos, sign up to the gym, you name it. Yeah. It'll all be on there. So,
in terms of awesome. The YouTube channel's free. Also, want to say that we have also I am an author in that I've written a couple of books, but I've also
Can I just interrupt?
Oh yeah.
You're reading my mind because every time I'm going to flow into the next. I'm just gonna step away from the mics.
I do have to
because let me just say what you're about to say.
I can't read your mind.
let me just say two things.
Go on.
7 principles of health and fitness.
Yeah.
New body, new mind.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're the 2 books. All right, let me say, like the 7 principles of health and fitness. I wrote that about 2.5, and I read about 3 years ago. It's only a 12-page book. I think you can download it for under £1.
95 pence. I bought it myself. It's the best 95 pence you could spend.
Thank you, Richard. Because I was going to say the purpose of the book, right, is for people who haven't been to. You don't have to go to Fearon gym. You can go to any gym, read that book, and get some advice and information about what you should be doing, etc., 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 and how to train as a beginner. So 99p. I would encourage people to buy that. But I was also going to say that about the website is that we have a blog page, and I've written several blogs about a whole variety of things. Weight training as you go older, what the correct body fat percentage you should have, etc. It's all free stuff. And like while we're on lockdown, if people are bored and they want to know about whatever, go on the website, go on the blog page. It's ferronsgym.com. Go on the blog site, go on the blog page, and have a look. If there's any stuff that can help you, then read it. It's all free.
Definitely, like you said, we've got plenty of spare time right now. Educate yourself. The stuff that's in your books, and I'll come on to it a little bit later, is fantastic. And if you're giving that information away for free on your website as well,
no, it's not. It's not
wholeheartedly. People should be going on there.
More information because there's a load of stuff out there. There's a load of fitness gurus out there telling you this, telling you that, telling you all the other. But I've been doing this. I've been a personal trainer since I got my qualification about 98, something like that. But it's not just that. I kind of try and walk it the way I talk it. I mean, I think there's meal plans up on there is meal plans up on the shop page. I tested out their meal plans, and no one can't tell me they don't work because I tested them all out, and I know that they work. So if people are looking for a cheap but effective way of trimming down without spending loads and loads of money on meal plans, then hey, go on the website. They're under $5.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And what I like about your stuff, which we're going to come into next, is that, like you say, you walk it the way you talk it. The way I see it, it's no bullshit.
No,
it's absolute no bullshit. It is what it is. And we're going to go to a quick ad break.
Okay.
And once we come back from that, we're going to really delve into that and speak a lot more.
Okay, nice one.
All right, so we'll be back with you after this. This podcast is sponsored by Beast and Bulk Nutrition. Train better, live better, be better. If you're looking to increase muscle mass, promote muscular endurance and increase strength, then Beast and Bulk Nutrition have the key ingredients to supplement your health and fitness program. With Creatine Bulk, made with the highest quality, purest creatine monohydrate, its potent 4,000 milligram servings will provide that extra pump and increase those muscle gains. Testo Beast. This testosterone booster is made up with 9 top natural and powerful ingredients including ashwagandha, vitamin D, luteolin and zinc, which effectively help boost your testosterone levels, strengthen endurance. And then there's the Chaotic Beast. Chaotic Beast is a scientifically formulated pre-workout supplement providing the perfect balance of caffeine, creatine and branched-chain amino acids to kickstart your training sessions, giving you the focused and prolonged muscle endurance throughout. Its sour apple flavour makes it a more pleasurable experience compared to its market rivals. Visit the website beastandbulk.com or find them on Amazon using the promo code POD10 at the checkout for a 10% discount courtesy of Project Pod. That's POD10 at the checkout for a 10% discount. Beast and Bulk. Don't compete, dominate. And we're back.
Boom.
Boom. All right, so Clive, so what I was saying before that break there was, what I like is that it's no bullshit. The stuff that you put in, the 7 principles of health and fitness. As I say, I downloaded that myself. Best 95p you can spend. And honestly, I'm so serious because a lot of stuff talks about doing this diet and doing that diet and how you should do. There's just so much. You know what it's like, fad diets and stuff out there.
Yeah.
2 amazing points because there's 7 key points, obviously 7 principles of health and fitness. 2 of the most amazing points, what I really like. One of the points, stop dieting. I love that.
Yeah, stop dieting. Stop dieting. The reason is because diets don't work. We've got a lot of people go to diet clubs, right? They diet, and then when they go back to eating normal and they put the weight on, and they put the weight back on, they end up putting more weight back on. One of the things that diets don't tell you, right? No one tells you about diets. Diets don't tone you up. So, if you if you wanna stay healthy and stay trim, then you've got to tone up. You've got to take some form of exercise. That doesn't necessarily mean weight training, because if you look at the stuff that I've been doing while we've been on coronavirus lockdown, then you can see you don't necessarily need to be weight training to tone up, and you don't need to be eating salad all the time. If you look at the meal plans that I've got on the market,
Definitely.
There's just what people don't understand. Like a lot of diets, this, that, and the other. They are designed for athletes. They're designed for people who have a particular target to meet. And I'll talk about me. Yeah, when I was a boxer, yeah, because I was a journeyman, I'd sometimes get a fight on a Thursday or a Friday where I'd get a call. Do you want to fight in Glasgow on Monday? Oh, you're fighting so-and-so, and you have to be 10'9". You have to be 10'6". I'm walking around at the time, 11 stone 5, 11. But, I strip it down and go and fight. So in terms of, if I could tell people how to do that, but that's not sustainable. No. It's just not sustainable. It certainly wasn't sustainable for me. So you go on these 12-week diet plans or whatever, body transformations or whatever. It's not sustainable. And I'm not going to lie to people and tell them, it's sustainable. I don't live my life like that. So I'm not expecting other people to live their life like that as well. When you're an athlete, your job is to be an athlete. Your job is to stay in tip-top condition. When you've got a fight coming up, when you've got a competition coming up, you need to earn dough. It's all about earning dough. So you'll do what you can to strip down. The ordinary person don't want to be living like that. They might think that they want to live like that, and they might think, I want to look like that, but you don't want to do what is. You don't want to do what's required. You don't want to do it because it's not nice.
Yeah, and like you said, it's not sustainable.
And I'm not gonna peddle that. I'm not gonna peddle that. If you're like me, I'm not big and muscular. I've put weight on since I've started boxing, but my waist is still the same, and that's been the same for over 20 years now, over 30 years now. Wow, I am old. But
you say you're not big and muscular.
It's like I'm not telling people. No, I'm not. I'm under 12 and a half stone.
Yeah, you're in your 50s. You've got a six-pack.
Yeah,
you've got a body that 20-odd-year-olds don't have.
Yeah,
So you're being modest there, Clive. You're being modest.
Yeah, but I try and stay humble with it and don't flaunt it.
Stay humble.
Well, all I'm trying to say is, it's like the way I'm not living on salads and this, that, and can't eat this, can't eat that. I have a healthy diet. I try and eat clean most of the time, and if people eat clean and do it over a sustained period of time, they will lose weight. They will if they're exercising, they will tone up as well. But
definitely.
just diet club, just doing all this madness to get into a certain to get down to a certain weight. It's not sustainable. It's about being healthy now and exercising now and doing the same things or still exercising in 5 years' time. Because exercise ain't just about how you look; it's about how you feel. I worked with a lady. She won't mind me mentioning her name, Janie Kavanagh. And I mean, when she came to the gym, she was over 100 kilos. Yeah. She had some health problems as well. I mean, over that time, her bone density has increased by, I think it's 30-odd%. She no longer has to take certain medications, etc. her lung capacity is improved by something like 40% and they are the positive health benefits of exercise. But somehow, what's happened is in our society is that health or health, weight loss as health has become hijacked. So exercise, has become hijacked, and so people only look at exercise in terms of what dress size it will get me down to, or what waist size will it get me down to. But now you got to consider, if you want to exercise on a long-term basis, you've got to consider the long-term health benefits to you, like your blood sugar level, like your bone density, etc., and not just the size of your waist. But hey,
what do you know?
But hey,
Well, what do you know? I mean,
know?
listen, you went to. I mean, we've kind of skipped over, but you went to uni and you studied this stuff. So your books, what you've written, didn't come out of nothing. They didn't come out of losing 15 stone in 10 days. They came out of a real life studying, hard work that you put in. I know that you failed a couple of times and you kept going back until you actually passed. And talk about that.
Yeah. Well, what happens is, I've got a degree in psychology. What happened was the exams that I failed is when I did my A levels, because I went to the University of East London, and I feel real privileged that I went to the University of East London, because at the time it had the biggest psychology departments in Europe. I think there were 37 full-time members of staff. So I feel like I got a real good education. It taught me how to think. It taught me how to think critically and question stuff. So yeah, I've got a degree in psychology. My experiences of I'm also a counsellor as well, and that's kind of how I got into writing the books. I mean, my first book, New Mind, New Body, explains a link between food, emotions, and you. My first book, that was written from a therapeutic point of view, because I was a therapist at the time, and a lot of women were coming to me who was getting into ease and stuff like that, doing all that party stuff, back in the 90s, as we did. I think you're too young to remember that, Rich. But
I mean, I was just out on the green playing football. I think I wasn't too worried about what my body looked like or anything. I wasn't doing drugs.
Yeah, well, we had there was big garage raves and stuff like that, right? A lot of people were doing ease and stuff, and I don't know, it like women were coming to me, wanting me to help them with weight loss, etc., etc. And you know what? Found out that a lot of the issues that they had were not directly due to the weight. It was like weight was a symptom of other things, depressed about this, angry about that, or whatever. So, and I kind of did. I thought to myself, I'm going to write a self-help book. So I wrote a self-help book. It's case driven. The case is I take there's a chapter on sex. There's a chapter on emotional hunger, and I talk about the people that came to me and how I helped them, etc., etc., etc. And also, the way the book is written as well, it's written that for the ordinary person to be able to understand. You don't need to have
a PhD
you don't need
reading.
to have gone
or
to
anything daft like that.
You don't. Yeah, I try and simplify it down so that the ordinary person can understand it, because they're the people
the way you walk
that I'm trying to reach. The ordinary person.
Exactly. No,
Basically,
This is what I like. Yeah. This is these books that you've written, the things that you're saying. I had a lady on the podcast called Victoria Kleinsman a couple of podcasts ago. You should probably listen. And I actually might link you two up, because I think you could have some really deep conversations. And there's a lot more that I could go into, but she specializes in this kind of thing. She is what she calls herself is a body image coach, and food freedom. So Again, very much like
Oh
you,
yeah,
it's about ditch the diet,
oh
because
yeah,
it isn't about the diet. And she's done the same thing. She's educated herself on all this stuff, and it's about allowing yourself to have chocolate if you need it and stuff like that, if you want it, if you feel like you need to have it, not feeling guilty about it. She's very much about self-love, and that's another point what you actually make in your book, 7 Principles of Health and Fitness: self-acceptance, them kinds of things. These are so important that people are losing grip with
yeah,
that kind of stuff
yeah.
right now because they're looking at what's on social media.
You see what's happened with people is, and this is only in my humble opinion. People don't have to accept it, but what's happened with people is that with the media, we're fed these unrealistic images because a lot of the media images are
Yeah,
airbrushed. So the airbrush the bases out of them, etc., etc., and you don't really see what the real person looks like. I mean, here's another thing with
yeah,
guys as well, right? The guy bodybuilders and people like that. You see them guys when they're in shape. You
yeah,
don't
when they're
see
in
them
competition mode, aren't they?
when they're not in shape. You don't see them. You don't, yeah, you only see them when they're in competition mode. You don't see them when they're not in competition mode. So you think that it's realistic to
No.
walk around like that all the time? No, it ain't. It ain't. You know. And I'm not saying that those guys are walking around fat or those women are walking around fat. I'm not saying. But what I am saying is that it's
It's not real,
not.
it's not
It's
sustainable,
not.
like you said before. It's just one of them things.
They
Is
don't look. No,
Yeah,
they're not. They're not as ripped. They're
you're
not as
seeing them in
ripped
their
as
prime, in their
you
absolute
see them.
peak
Not
form,
in
where
real
they,
life.
like, especially
Yeah,
bodybuilders, where they've dehydrated themselves
yeah,
to
that's
shit.
right.
And
That's
actually, they're
right. You're
doing all that, and they look great, but they feel like crap inside.
right. Very true. Very true. I actually did many years ago when I was at university. My final year piece of research was on a
Mm.
bodybuilder as he prepares for Mr. Universe competition, and was looking at various. I was looking at various variables like mood, his mood, basically his psychological
Mm.
aspects, his mood, his level of anger, etc., etc. And um, he, yeah, he struggled. He struggled big time. And what was surprising was the amount
Yeah, I
of
mean
drugs
that's
that those
that's
guys
the other
take.
side of it. That's the one
Wow,
thing we kind of just
they
skipped
take a
over
lot of
there. Yeah,
drugs.
they look great, but they're taking a lot of steroids. I mean, back in the day, when you look at the likes of Arnie in the golden era, Mr. Universe days, yeah, he looked amazing. Um, but there
Yeah.
was and I'm not saying he didn't work hard to get there, but there's a lot of steroids involved, a hell of a lot of steroids involved. Where,
Of course.
like you said, you look at the mood, you look at outside of that, outside of the interviews, outside of the way he looked when he was posing. Um, he probably had some, a lot of shit going on in his head.
Oh, without doubt. But the thing about like
Mm.
I want to say people who take steroids, yeah, right, Arnie's, the people like that, right. Yeah, they will they take the gear. They look great. Yeah, you do have to work hard as well. You can't just take gear and sit down and look good. But there is the long-term health consequences as well of taking gear, which I know guys that took gear
Mm.
back in the 80s, 90s. They were squatting, they were lifting, benching heavy mad weights, right? Now you see them now. Oh, it's like, oh yeah, I've
Yeah,
had a hip operation. I've had to have my hip placed. I've had to have this replaced. And it's like, you know what? That's because you took that.
silly
That's
weights.
because you were lifting the silly weights, right, when you was on gear. I don't say that to him, but you know
It's
what I
in your
mean.
mind, yeah.
That is
I'm,
something that is
I went
that
to the.
does affect you. It does
I
affect
was I was
people.
going to a gym
Without doubt, it does affect
quite a few
people.
years back now. I don't know. It's probably 7 or 8 years ago, and I'm watching. I'm looking at Well, it's changed.
Has it closed down
It used to be Gym for All, and now
now? Okay.
it's the one at the top of is it Normanton Road where
Oh,
the Mill
okay.
Hill corner is. You know, well, yeah. So I used to go there, and
Yeah, I know
it
what
was
you
a good
mean. I know
gym.
what
Don't
you
get me
mean.
wrong,
I know
but
what you mean.
you know, I think at
Very
that
good.
time I was a little bit like, you know, look at other people what they're lifting, compare yourself to that. You know, how am I going to get to that? And I started lifting with this one guy, and I think he was Turkish, and you know, I was like, mate, how the fuck are you doing this? And he was like, and he was dead honest with me. He went, steroids. I was like, all right, okay. Yeah, he just went, yeah, I take steroids and stuff like that. And I was like, all right. So I was, you know, and he kind of drew me in. I was like, so like, how does it work? You know, I wanted to know more about it. You know, in my head, I'm going, maybe I should take some steroids. You know, that's how you get drawn in so easily. And I'm like, okay, so you know, what are you taking? How much you take? And he started telling me all these milligrams of this, and he's jacking it into his arm and his arse, and I'm like, oh fuck, man, I don't know about that. I thought he was taking some orals, and the
Stacking this,
craziest thing,
stacking that.
what he
Yeah,
told
yeah,
me was that
yeah.
2 years before this conversation, he had a major heart attack, which was caused by the steroids he was taking, and I was like,
Whoa.
yeah, and I was like, what? And you
Yeah.
want to keep going? He's like, yeah, I don't care. I'm like, I need to be muscular. I need to be big. It doesn't matter. And I'm like, yeah, but you could die. You know that you could die. And he's like, I don't care. And I'm like, it's fucked up. And I'll also say that
Yeah.
there was guys that would stand
He
next to him and be
probably
like, oh
didn't have
mate, you
any
look really
children.
well. And they'll be like, no, I don't look good enough. I've got a long way to go. And I'm like, really? You look almost like these people you see on the internet. Body dysmorphia is massive, and a lot of people get that mixed up with just like a female thing. But body dysmorphia in bodybuilders and in men is massive. Like they
Yeah,
never feel like they're big enough.
very much so. Very much so. Very much so. Never feel like they're big enough. Never feel like they're muscular enough, etc., etc. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I'm not the biggest guy in the gym. I'm not the strongest guy in the gym, but I'm there on a regular basis. So my body looks the way it looks.
Yeah, you feel, and
It will
as long as
find
you're
the right
feeling
size
good,
it is.
you're not damaging your body.
Without.
You look good, you feel good. I think that's the main thing. I don't look at scales and
Hmm.
stuff. I look in the mirror. And to be honest, I could look in the mirror now and say, yeah, I could do with getting, losing a few pounds here and there. But actually, I'm not really that arsed. I'm quite happy with my life, and
I gotta say something like in terms of the scales. You made me think there. I mean, when I was boxing,
yeah,
the scales were
holy
like my
scale.
holy grail. You know, yeah, because I had to be
Mm,
if I was 11 stone, I was okay because it was only half a stone away from 10.5 stone, which is what I fought at. But when I started getting up to if I was 11.1, not so good,
yeah.
right? But 11.1 wasn't as good as 11
Mm,
stone, but it was better than 11 stone 3. That was in my mind all the time. Now, um, and perhaps within the last 3, 4, 5 years or so, I probably I don't go on the scales that often. So if you ask me how much was the last time on the scales now, it's probably sometime last month. I'm not too sure what I was
yeah,
about
but it means
12
nothing.
2 with
Literally
my
means
clothes
nothing.
on.
I mean, what
But,
we was talking about when you were boxing, obviously it means a lot. You need
not
to make
really.
sure that you're around a certain weight so that if you get that call last minute to go into a fight, you can get rid of that weight to be able to, be on weight for the fight. That's a totally different story, and I completely understand that. Yeah, but the
Yeah,
way you are
absolutely.
now,
Absolutely.
like you said, you're in your 50s.
Absolutely.
You don't need to weigh yourself. Are you happy? Are you happy the way you look? You know in yourself that you're eating right, you're training right. You've got the right balance. You can go home and have a beer if you want. Um, all that kind of stuff. You
Yeah.
can't just be flat out clean. I'm eating broccoli. I'm eating boiled chicken. I'm drinking water all day. It gets so boring, and anybody that tries them diets fail
No,
every
it
time.
does. It does. I mean, like they work for boxers, they work for athletes, right? The reason why they work is
Yeah,
because they're doing them for a certain period of time, and their motivation is at a completely different level from the ordinary person because their motivation is, like for my sons, for example, if I win this fight, right, then I will be, it steps me up the ladder. It steps me one step closer to getting where I want to be. So, and plus I'm going to get some money as well. So, your motivation is completely different from someone who wants to
Yeah.
look good amongst their friends or on a night out with their friends. It's a different,
Yeah,
you got a
definitely.
different
I mean,
mindset.
did you
You got
watch
the
the
mindset of an
Cristiano
athlete.
Ronaldo with Piers Morgan thing recently? That's just a
I
prime
didn't, I'm
example
afraid. No.
of his discipline.
I
Are you
have
shitting me?
met Ronaldo. I met him once at a boxing
Oh
show.
my god.
No, I'm serious. It was at a boxing show. It was a boxing show. It was in Manchester, actually. It was 1999 when
Ah,
Naz
all right.
fought
Let me stop you a minute. You're talking
Paul
about
Ingle,
Fat Ronaldo.
the Yorkshire Hunter.
You're talking about Brazilian Ronaldo. I'm talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. But carry on anyway. That I
Yeah.
want to hear the story.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, well, I was at the boxing show and he was there, so I didn't take my
And the
photo with him
phones,
because
yeah.
back in the day we didn't have cameras and all that, or camera phones and all that. No, they hadn't been that kind of invented in that yet. So, but yeah, I met him, said hello, shook my hands, shook his hands. I mean,
Yeah.
one thing surprised me how tall he was.
Big lad. Big lad.
That's all he was. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Mm.
He quite, yeah, bigger than you thought he was. You can imagine. You can imagine him. You can imagine him running
Mm.
and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
having to tackle him. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
mean,
would
well,
have
I was
been
talking about
difficult.
Cristiano Ronaldo, and I tell you what, I suppose we could pick up on that. I mean, the amount of people that you've met um, is unreal. Like, you go into your gym and you'll see all the pictures. I know you've met the likes of Tyson Fury, you've met David Hay. I don't know, you name it, because I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been a while since I've stepped into your gym, but
Um, well, I met David Hay, met Ricky Hatton, Joe Calzaghe, Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard. Roberto Duran. Yeah,
sugar,
I got a
yeah,
picture with Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Thomas Hearns, and Marvin Hagler. Not all on the same picture, but
yeah.
I've met them all individually. The Fantastic Four. So if anyone kind of remembers back in the '80s, the rivalry that was between them four fighters. Yeah, I met them all on separate occasions. Plus Frank Bruno. I've met Frank Warren. Hey, I'll tell you what I've met, right? I've got my picture with him as well, yeah? Frank
Frank
Maloney.
Maloney.
Anyone remember Frank
Yeah.
Maloney? He used to be Lennox Lewis's manager.
Is he a female now?
And then he
Yeah,
came
yeah,
out
yeah.
and yeah. Well, I met him like
Mm,
obviously years before, and I got a picture because he was a
yeah.
manager of a friend of mine, my good friend Dennis Berry. He was a manager there for a while, and so yeah, I took my photo with him one night when at a show when Dennis was boxing.
So there you go. I mean,
Yeah,
this is
in
what I mean. The
London.
amount of people you met, and then you go and tell me you've
Yeah.
met someone like Ronaldo. Not the Ronaldo I was
Oh,
talking about, but he's
let
still
me, let me
yo.
tell you.
He's a massive name in
Let me tell
football. Like
you.
obviously back then as well. Cristiano Ronaldo. What was getting to is that just back to
Yeah.
what we were saying is that it's the discipline. It's the one of the things he was saying is like if he has to, he doesn't want to have to go out and leave his family to go into the gym or do this session or whatever, but he knows that by going out and doing that extra 30 minutes or something, that's what keeps him ahead of the game. That's what makes him better than the rest. If he just went, I'll skip one day, I'll skip a couple of days, that's where you fall behind, and it's extreme discipline, but
I think that people like Ronaldo are. It goes beyond. You
no, not
see, someone
anymore.
like Ronaldo, he isn't doing it for money. You know, he's in his 37, I think. He isn't doing it for money. He just does it for the pure love of it,
Yeah,
and to get up in the morning and
yeah.
to want to train, to want to push yourself when you've got X amount of millions
Nah.
in the bank. Most people wouldn't want to do that. But, you know, people like him, I take my hat off to people like Ronaldo.
Yeah.
I take my hat off to people like Floyd Mayweather. Not a particular one of my favorite boxers, but I got to take my hat off to him because people like that to carry on fighting, right? To be taking punches and that at the age that they were, and they don't
It's
need
about
to. They've got
legacy.
plenty of money in the bank. Most people wouldn't do that. So they got to be motivated. They got to be motivated by something beyond money, and I think they've also got to be motivated by
I mean, for
something
me,
beyond
it's
their
legacy,
ego
isn't
as
it? When
well.
you get to that stage, it's like
But
it's
that's just
about
me.
leaving your legacy behind. I suppose the one thing I was, I can't even remember who it was that said this now, but I read a book, and the one thing that really struck a chord with me, and do you know actually who I think it was? Believe it or not, Kevin Hart. You know, a lot of people see Kevin Hart, comedian, funny guy.
Okay.
He's actually a very, very intelligent guy. And
Yeah,
he says some stuff that I've heard in the past. And I think, do you know what? He's got that nailed on. I know he's had his ups and downs and stuff, but actually, good businessman, entrepreneur, very intelligent, as well as all the stupid shit that he does, which is really funny. He basically talked about how do you want your book to end? Let's say your life is a book. You know, you've got a beginning, you've got a middle, and an end. You know, you start, you're born, and all that kind of stuff, and you go through the motions. Somewhere in the middle, you fuck up, and you know, you do what you do. You live in life, and we all make mistakes. But how do we learn from the mistakes? And then I suppose at the end of the book, it's how do you want that book to finish? How do you want your book to be read when you're gone? And I suppose for me, that was like, wow. Yeah, how do I want my book to be read? How do I want people to see me? How do I want my story to be told when I'm gone? I thought that was an amazing thing. And
yeah, I hear
your
that.
book's
I
looking
hear
pretty
that.
good.
I hear that. I'm reminded of. Thank you. Well, I think we've got a few more chapters left to go. Yeah. Well, I certainly hope that I do. I certainly hope the gym does as well because you know I'm bringing on the next generation. Yeah, I'm bringing on the next generation. I mean, we're a family-run gym, and we've got my niece. She works up there. She helps me out with the classes. I've also got not my niece, my daughter. Alicia, she also helped me out with the classes, and also got my nephew Javai. They help me out with the classes. I've kind of taught them because what we do, you know, down at the gym, where we do what I classify as or what I call freestyle boxercise. That means we don't work from a script. I started boxercise many years ago, back in the 90s with Cliff. And like we don't work and it's evolved and evolved and evolved. I've evolved it myself, and it's like we don't work from a script. So we kind of see how many people is there for the class. We work out what we're doing as we kind of go along. So no two classes are ever the same. Yeah, you're throwing punches and stuff like that, but you know at 7:10, you don't know what combo you're going to be throwing. Or if you're going to be throwing a combo or not, you might be even on the pads, you might be holding the bag, you might be flipping the tire, you might be doing something else. So you know, our classes are very diverse, and I do the boxing training. I teach people how to box, and it's like I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah.
Boxing starts with the feet because if you look at a ring, you got to be able to move around that ring. The ring is normally, like I say, 15, 16 foot. So you got to have you got to have footwork. And when I talk about footwork, I mean, you know, Ricky Hatton had good footwork. Floyd Mayweather's got good footwork. They both got basic footwork, yeah? But, you know, look at their styles on top of that. And I think that as a trainer, it's not just about showing people how to. It's not just about showing people how to punch. Certain people have a certain style. You can see their style. They might not know their style, but you can see what style they're best adapted to. You know, some people might want to think, yeah, I want to be hooking, I want to be doing this, I want to be doing that. Well, you know what, right? Before you do all of that, let's learn how to throw some straight punches. Because in order to throw the hook, you've got to get to that person. So how are you going to set that up? What are you going to do?
Yeah, definitely. You've got to learn the basics, haven't you? That's what I was saying right at the beginning.
So have to learn the basics. Have to learn the basics, and to do championship boxing, to do white collar boxing, as we do down at the gym. You need the basics. If you've got the basics, then you'll survive. You'll know how to look after yourself because part of boxing is not just about hitting people; it's also about avoiding shots as well. People like Tyson Fury, Calzaghe, they didn't just get there from punching people. They got there from being able to avoid shots.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Well, yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. It's
Does
a
that make
sweet science
sense?
of boxing. Learn those fundamentals, be able to get in and get out as well. And
Yeah,
like you say, I mean, we could probably talk for another hour or so on this subject. I mean, just going back to, I know we did a podcast. This is almost 2 years ago now, and we talked about Tyson Fury and one of the things that you picked up on. So this was before the first fight with Deontay Wilder, and what was good about that actually is we both sort of came to an agreement that if it's a points victory, Fury's going to win. If it's a knockout, it's going to be probably Deontay Wilder. That's what we spoke about the first time, and we both came to that. We both sat on the fence. Yeah. We didn't really want to say which way it would go, and we actually were quite right in a sense because it was a draw based on the fact that Tyson Fury outboxed him and Deontay Wilder knocked him out, although he did get back up. So we were kind of both right on that. But then there was a lot of sense that he was talking with regards to Tyson Fury, and he was talking about the way that actually for a big man, a heavyweight, the way he moved around the ring like he was a welterweight or something. The way he could, his shots, his jab and stuff like that as well was so powerful. A big man. I remember you said that you met him and he was doing some training. Yeah.
Yeah, I met him a couple of times. I've watched him train, come down the gym and trained at Cliffy's, and his nephew and his cousin Huey Fury. I've seen both of them.
Yeah.
Up close, watched them train, etc. Yeah. Tyson Fury.
It's his head movement, it's his footwork, all that. It's not about, and a lot of people talk about Tyson, and this was another thing going into the second fight. What a lot of people was doubting was the fact that, Tyson's going to have to win on points again when he actually stopped Deontay. Well, going back to that podcast that me and you we was talking about that fight, you turned around at one point and said, "Don't underestimate Tyson Fury's power."
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true. I've seen it close up. So he's a lot stronger than you think he is. I actually thought that Deontay Wilder would get more to the game the second time around, and actually thought that Deontay Wilder was going to beat him, despite Tyson's boxing ability. I've never underestimated his boxing ability, but I thought that Wilder would have something extra, but no, he didn't. I think that. Fury stepped up to the plate and brought a lot more to the game, and it was almost like
definitely.
Wilder.
I feel the same.
He brought less to the game.
He's throwing a few excuses around, and apparently he said that maybe something's going to come out on the lead up to the next fight on one of the reasons why he lost. But I think you just take your loss and go, all right, we fucked up, we didn't prepare properly, and just get on with it and go into the next fight. I think.
Yeah, that's true. 100%. It's a bit like David Hay when he lost to Klitschko. Started complaining about his broken toe. It's like, mate, shut up. You're embarrassing yourself. Exactly. Don't say nothing.
I mean, the boxing thing there, we could, definitely we could go on and on and on. But I mean, I'm conscious that we're well over an hour now. But I'm happy to have you back anytime. You know that. I'm a massive advocate of yours. I love what you do. We'll definitely come back, and we're actually doing an end of series finale where I'm going to get everybody back, hopefully via Zoom. We're going to record it that way, so we'll all be face to face. So that should be a fun one. So I want you back for that. Just going back to what you were saying about your boxing classes and stuff, what you do, your gym. We have got a competition running at the minute, which ends at the end of May. And you've kindly donated a month's free gym membership, which includes all the classes, boxing, boxercise, everything
right.
else.
Yeah.
So, it's a good way that if you want to get
Yeah.
involved, enter this competition. And even if you don't win, so what? Get yourself down to Fearon's gym.
Yeah, listen, I want to just a shout out to everybody. Yeah, come down to Fearon's Gym. We're $12.99 a month. That includes all the classes as well. And like I said, we're a family run gym. We we just love to see you
Yeah.
down there, basically.
Yeah, definitely. Look,
And that's
and I'll
my
back you on
shout
that.
out.
Fearon's Gym it's not just a family-run gym; it's a family environment. You can take your kids down there because you do the kids boxing classes as well. I know you're happy to have the kids there.
Yeah, that's true.
I
We
used to
do.
bring my son to the boxing class. I'd go in and work out in the gym, stuff like that. He'd come down sometimes and watch me doing the white collar stuff. So, it's such a a family orientated gym, not just a family run gym. So yeah, no, it's great what you're doing. So before
Thank
we
you.
go, I can't let you go without doing.
I just want to say this before you go. I just want to say this as well. If you're looking for a personal trainer who walks it like he talks it, then
Mr.
people
Clive Fearon.
look no
Listen, we're
further
not
than
going
me.
yet. We're not going yet. We're going to leave your socials and everything. What
That's
I'm
the
not going to
one.
let you get away with is not doing this quiz. End of every show, we do a quiz. It's a 60 seconds
Okay.
quiz to answer as many questions correct as possible. Everybody, usually says that they're not very
Okay.
good at quizzes and this, that, and the other. But listen, it's a bit of fun. And I'm just going to tell you that the top score at the minute is 5, which is not massively high. And he got a couple of those questions right at the end as well. We got 2 on the bounce, and they were about space. So I think it's about the niche and what comes out. So that was Steve. He's a goalkeeping coach. He got 5. The next best score was Victoria Kleinsman, who I was telling you about, which we'll have a separate conversation to this because I think she'll want you on her podcast as well. And then we've got Sandy Ryan in 3rd place with 3. And then I think it goes to 2 after that. So, where would you like to be on that leaderboard?
Okay.
At the top. I like it. Everybody else usually goes, I don't think I'll be very good, but I'll give it a go. So, right, the minute...
I'm giving it a go. I don't know if I'll be any good, but where would I want to be?
Well, listen,
I'd want to have 10
seconds. If you don't know the answer, say pass. We'll move on to the next question. That's the best way you're going to save time. If I fluff my lines, I'm going to give you a little bit of time at the end as well. Give you an extra question or something. So, Mr. Clive Fearon, are you ready for this? Okay, let's go.
Yes, I'm ready.
Who played James Bond in GoldenEye? Nope. In which year did the Battle of Waterloo take place? Nope. Zn is the symbol of which chemical element? Well done. In 2012, Lewis Hamilton announced he was leaving McLaren to drive for which other Formula One team? Well done. What does BHP Mercedes stand for when describing the power of a motor vehicle? Wasabi is used in which type of food?
Brake horsepower.
Yeah.
Wasabi?
No. Which country does opera singer Pavarotti come from? Well done. Who was Liverpool skipper in the 2005 Italy. European Champions League triumph? How many sides has an octagon?
Octagon. 6.
Right, you're on the buzzer.
No,
and
8.
I will take your second answer.
8.
Mate, that was good. That was pretty strong. I was like, he's going like the first couple, chucked you out a little bit. But then when you got into your groove, I was like, Clive's on a roll. Who played James Bond in GoldenEye? It was Pierce Brosnan. The Battle of Waterloo took place in 1815. I think you were thinking of the Battle of Hastings. That's what you said, isn't it?
No, that was 1066.
Zn is the symbol of which chemical element? You got correct. Zinc. Lewis Hamilton moved to Mercedes. Correct. BHP stands for brake horsepower. Correct. Wasabi is used in which type of food? It's Japanese food. So you got that one wrong. Which country does singer Pavarotti come from? Italy, correct. I thought you'd get this one. Who was Liverpool skipper in the 2005 European Champions League triumph? Bruce Grobbelaar was retired by 2005. It was Steven Gerrard.
Yeah. You know what? I thought, he was. I was going to say that.
Octagon
I can't see it being.
Doesn't have 6 sides, but you corrected yourself and you said 8 sides. So well done. You've got 5. So you actually joint top with Steve. So yeah, you got your wish, man. You're top of the league. Well done. And
I wanted one more. Gerrard. One more would have done me.
Gerrard. That was a good effort. Gerrard. That was a really good effort. So I'm going to figure this out, because if we're tied at the end, and it's say you and Steve at the end, come the series, the episode finale of the series, whatever it is, we might have to do a tiebreaker or a head-to-head with you guys to figure that one out. Yeah. Definitely, we'll get it figured out, man. We can't end in a draw. There's no Fury Deontay one here. There's no draws in my games. So before we go, final thing, I just want to get your social media, your Instagram, Facebook, all that kind of stuff from you. You give that a shout out, and I'll put that all up in the bio.
Okay. If you like us, join our page. It's Fearon's Weight Training Gym and Boxing Academy. That's our Facebook. Don't
worry, I've got you back on that anyway. I follow you on Instagram, so I'll sort that out for you.
And we're also, if people want more free stuff, then if they like and subscribe to the Fearon's
Clive Fearon Fitness.
I think it's Clive Fearon Fitness. I think that is our YouTube channel. I think. And if you've got time on your hands and you want to do any reading, like I said, go on our website. You can buy there's a couple of books that you can buy, but there's free articles, there's free blog articles. But you don't have to buy them. Just click on them, read them, and hey, leave me a message. Let me know your thoughts. I'm very interested in.
Awesome. So as far as the website as well, that's ferronsgym.com, right? Excellent. So
ferronsgym.com, yes.
On the bio for this podcast, but I will also put this stuff onto our website. There'll be a page, what's called Stars of the Show. Clive will have his own piece. There'll be a picture of Clive up there. There'll be a way of contacting Clive and a link to the website. Just back to what you said about the stuff. One thing I would really say to people is if you're just new to getting into fitness, health and fitness, stop wasting your time. Don't go on the internet and look at all this stuff. Go and buy that book, 7 Principles of Health and Fitness. Have I said that right? That's what it is, isn't it? Health and Fitness for 95 pence on Amazon.
Health and Fitness.
And read that, and you'll save yourself years and years of mistakes.
It will save you a lot of time. Save you a lot of time.
Yeah. Stick to that. Forget everything else. Before that, I've made a lot of mistakes to try and get myself into the right mindset and get into the right kind of eating habits and training habits. You can skip all that. You don't have to take that road. You can buy this book for 95 pence. I can't say what's 95p? It's nothing. So it's amazing. So listen, Clive, really, really enjoyed having you on. As always, you're full of so much knowledge. You're a great person to have on the show, and we'll do this again 100%.
I look forward to it, Richard. I look forward to it. Next time I can tell you about when I was an undercover reporter for the Cook Report.
This is the thing. You've got so many stories. I can't fit it all into one podcast, but that's a good thing because it means I can bring you back. And I do remember the Cook Report. I am just old enough to remember that. So listen, you take care, Clive. Love to your family and everything. Let's get through this lockdown period and get back to it. All right, mate.
Nice one, mate. Thank you. All right, look forward.